But I also wasn't going to reward Sarah's terrible decision-making by swooping in to rescue her when her plan fell apart. She'd been so sure about everything when she was choosing Marcus over me. So confident that her intuition was guiding her to the right choice. Now she could live with the consequences. After I threatened to call the police, Sarah stopped coming to my apartment for a few weeks. But then she started calling me from different numbers when I blocked her usual one. She'd leave voicemails about how sorry she was and how she realized she'd been wrong about everything. She said she'd been doing some soul searching and realized that her feelings for Marcus had clouded her judgment and that she should have handled the whole situation differently. In one of her voicemails she admitted that she'd been scared to get a paternity test because deep down she was worried that the baby might actually be Marcus's and that would have ruined her fantasy about us getting back together. She said she'd convinced herself that her intuition was real because it was easier than facing the possibility that she was making a huge mistake. But even with that admission she still hadn't actually gotten a paternity test to find out whose baby River really was. When I called her back to ask about that she said she was afraid to know the truth because what if River wasn't mine either and then she'd be completely alone with no one to help her. I told her that was exactly why she should have gotten the test in the first place instead of making decisions based on her feelings. But she said she couldn't afford the test right now and was hoping we could just try to work things out without needing to know for sure. That's when I realized Sarah hadn't learned anything from this whole experience. She was still trying to avoid taking responsibility and still wanted other people to make decisions based on incomplete information. She wanted me to potentially raise another man's child without even knowing if it was mine just because her other plan hadn't worked out. Update 1. After my original post, Sarah kept harassing me for another month, calling from different numbers and even having her mom contact me to try to convince me to help her out. Her mom called me and said Sarah was really struggling financially and emotionally and that River was such a sweet baby who deserved to have a stable father figure in his life. She said I should consider that maybe this was all happening for a reason and that I could still have the family I'd always wanted even if the circumstances weren't ideal. I told her mom the same thing I'd been telling Sarah, which was that I wasn't going to make any decisions about helping raise a child without knowing if it was actually mine. If Sarah wanted my help she needed to get a paternity test first. And if River turned out to be my son then we could figure out how to co-parent responsibly. But Sarah's mom said that Sarah was afraid the test would come back negative and then she'd lose any chance of reconciling with me. She said Sarah had realized that I was the stable, reliable partner she should have chosen all along and that she was hoping we could rebuild our relationship based on trust instead of requiring scientific proof. I almost laughed because it was the same delusional thinking that had gotten Sarah into this mess in the first place. She'd trusted her intuition over facts when it came to Marcus being the father. And now she wanted me to trust her feelings over facts when it came to getting back together. She hadn't learned anything. So I told her mom that I was done.